Okay, great. Nice to see you guys. Today we're going to be having a very interesting discussion because our panelists today, whew, I mean, when I first saw the lineup, I was like, yes, this is going to be a really, really great discussion and conversation. So I hope you guys are ready for it. Today's topic is a brand life, right? And we all know that branding now is for everybody. Gone are the days where we say branding is just for companies. Branding is a lifestyle right now. Sorry, can you guys hear me? Oh, okay, great. So branding is a lifestyle right now. But you know, it's actually easy to be on brand. What is hard is how to be in touch. To be on brand and still be in touch with your environment, with your culture, with your target audience is very difficult. So today, we're not just going to be talking about logos, about campaigns or Instagram aesthetics. We are going to be unpacking what it really takes to build a brand that has a soul. Every brand should have a soul. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And I'm really very happy because we have people here that has lived the life, the brand life, and will be able to do justice to this topic. I know they've introduced them before, but permit me to introduce them again because I think maybe you guys don't really know the caliber of people that we have here. To my left, we have Franklin Ozekhome. When it comes to culture, have you guys heard of cultural strategists before? Have you heard about it before? No? This guy is a cultural strategist, and if you're into branding, you should know about it. So when it comes to integrating culture into your branding, or when culture shifts and you need somebody to help you, direct your branding to that level, he's the guy to come and meet. So he is going to be telling us today about culture and how to authentically integrate it into our brand without losing our authenticity. So ladies and gentlemen, please clap for Franklin once again. Thank you. And then to my right, we have this beautiful lady called Oluwasola Obagbemi. Shola has over 14 years in marketing, right? Over 14 years. She's worked as a PR person. She's worked at Andela, and now she is the head of communications for Meta. I mean, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. Yes, this is the head of communications. So she's going to be telling us today all about how to build a global brand that can still be local, because Meta is everywhere, but we're still local. Still trying to connect with people in Nigeria. So that's Shola for you. Round of applause for her again. And then we have the handsome man over there, Mr. Chuka Obi. Chuka Obi is the Director of Creativity and Innovation at Globalcom. But we're not only going to be talking about Globalcom today. Some of those famous ads and campaigns that you have seen or heard, that's the guy, that's the person behind it. So you're going to be learning a lot from Chuka Obi today. Yeah, so thank you very much for being here, Chuka. And then last but not the least, I'm sure you all must have known her by now. You don't know her. Do you guys know her? You know what Jollof Day now? Done by Hilda Bassi. That's the lady behind it. Yes, that is the director of GB Foods, director of marketing for GB Foods, and she's had a lot of experience. She's actually an engineer turned the marketer, so she has a lot of stories to tell us today. So now that I've introduced everybody again, I'm sure you are ready for us to go into the crux of the matter. So we're going to start very small. We're going to start light. The basics. We're not going to talk about the definition of branding and all that. I'm sure you know. If you don't know, ask ChatGPT now. What is branding and what is meant to be a brand? What we're going to be talking about is what their personal experience is like, so they can tell us from their own point of view so that we can learn practical tips. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So let's start. Who do we start from now? Let's start with Shola. Okay, so Shola, who is a brand builder? Can everybody build it? Because right now, like I said, branding is a lifestyle.
Yes.
You have to build a brand to stay relevant.
Okay.
But what does it take to be a brand? Not to build a brand, not to be a brand builder. What are those characteristics and skills that you need to be a brand builder?
Thank you so much, Linda.
You're welcome.
I'm actually excited about this panel. And when I saw the lineup, I was like, whew, we're going to be talking brands. And thank you all for being here for this session. I'm hoping that you have a lot to learn after this session, such that we'd even have chats after this conversation and then, take our contacts and we would be in touch. Who is a brand builder? I think that, so the myth I first want to demystify is that anybody can build a brand. No, not everybody can build brands. Yes, thankfully, because of AI now. Last week I was in a conversation with a couple of people and they gave us a task for about 25 minutes, so 30 minutes. And they told us, build a product and then give us a go-to-market strategy and deliver it to us in 30 minutes. Guess what,
Wow.
guys? We built the brand on a platform I'm not going to mention because it's competition. We built the brand using that platform. The product was popcorn to be sold in Mexico. We built the logo. We did the product design. We did jingles. We did a video ad in 30 minutes because of AI. Now, does that make me a brand builder? No. And the reason I'm saying that is because there is more to building a brand. And if there's nothing you take out of this session, the one thing that I want you to know is that everybody can be a brand builder, but not everybody is a brand builder. And I would explain. A brand builder is somebody that wants to launch a product or a service and identifies first who the target audience is. So anything you want to sell, I want to sell this water, who exactly needs to buy it? Who do I want to talk to? Who are the people that will spend their money to ensure that this is off the shelf? Now, the brand builder then sits. So this person can be either an entrepreneur, it can be a marketing professional, it can be someone in the agency, it can be the CEO, the CMO, somebody like Ore. It can be just anybody that is passionate about taking the product, getting it into the right hands, and ensuring that there is a perception of it is a good product, and then the person then eventually buys it. So that means it doesn't even have to be just a product. It doesn't have to be something that is on the shelf. It can be you. And so which is why I tell people, Shola, I'm a brand. Who am I? I'm a global comms leader. And if I'm saying if I'm saying I'm a global comms leader, then there are so many things that comes with that. And so in building a brand, I always tell people that the most important thing is ensuring that you know what your brand identity is. And what is brand identity? These are the things that you can see that makes you buy Samsung and not Apple. That makes you go to GT Bank and not Zenith Bank. That makes you go to First Bank, or, just a competition that stands out. So they are the visual cues that you can see that then forms the perception to say, this brand is good, then you go ahead to go and buy. And so that means everybody can, but not everybody is. And the goal is that at the end of the day, everybody is able to build a brand that is recognizable, that is loved, so that at the end of the day, there's something they call brand loyalty. The customers are able to just be loyal to that brand. And that's where we all want to be.
Great. I think I understand what you're saying in a way, because I see a lot of brand builders now not building brands for themselves, but building brands for a service or a business or a product. But you yourself have to be a brand. That's what you're saying, right? And whether you like it or not, I always say this: whatever you're building, right, your own personal brand shines through. That's why I keep saying you can never know a brand more than the brand owner, because it's the brand owner's idea. So your idea will shine through. So you need to first of all build yourself to be a good brand builder.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Great. So the next question is the obvious question. I think I'm going to ask you, Franklin, is how do we actually build a brand in a country that is as volatile as Nigeria? We face a lot of challenges. So how do we keep it? How do we keep growing, and how do we sustain it?
Not really.
No one can hear me.
Do you want to
Okay.
take this?
Hello, hi. Can you hear me? It's very clear. Awesome. In a country like Nigeria, we face a lot of hardships, things around infrastructure, security, what have you, and not. The best things you can do as at that time is, and it's a word we use every time, which is being authentic, but what I want to use is introspective. The fact that you must have a point of view about what's going on. It might not necessarily be the thing that will be enacted, but it may be something that you strongly believe in. So I call it a system of belief. Taking for example, I see something that is happening about the political landscape. Brands something often decide, is this something they want to be engrossed in, or they want to just watch it happen, and that's always a difficult decision. But I look at it from a point of view in terms of what is the point of view about that society and the people who you're always trying to connect beyond functional stuff. Can you share a belief that people can buy into? And a good example was what the Colin Kaepernick thing did with Nike, did with Colin Kaepernick thing. But from Nigeria, I think the most important thing is to be true to who you are. And at that point, everybody becomes like a disciple that agree. Once they believe that that thing is done, then they also join into that belief to drive what you're doing. One example we did was, and that was at the heat of COVID. That was around March 2020, and I think Chuka and I worked on it. Was SBC also had its kind of challenge. At that point in time, when everybody had to go home, you couldn't be talking about selling soft drinks. Really, really. You couldn't about price or this thing. And in that difficult situation, you still had to share the perspective that people could believe in. And this brand ultimately made the decision based on the trends and things we were sharing with them that they would launch a wellness category, which was like one of the most difficult things. A brand that is well known for over 60 years in the soft drinks and this thing. We're going to launch a wellness category. And that's because everybody had lost touch of themselves. Everybody had gone and hidden into the homes. So we looked on the basic hidden truth in terms of how can I come in touch with you, even though everybody has withdrawn. Family and friends were divided. People were not hanging out anymore. Even within homes, everyone was keeping that, what was that 16th they were telling about, the whole 6 meters apart. So it was very, very, there was this whole sadness, coldness. And in a country like ours, where everyone, we were a very communal country, that was the point of view we could share. In the midst of that difficulty, it wasn't something we were used to. And the thing was, how can we try to bring everyone back in touch? So beyond the functional proposal for the commercial angle, we said, let's strive on the first that how can I be in contact with you again? And that developed the whole thing about the Too Sure product space. Too Sure's name came out from the fact that we wanted a double assurance that both from a functional point of view, you are safe and whatever it is you were using, but from a more introspective space, that from my mental, physical, and spiritual basis, you are double assured that whatever it is you were using was come to true. That's how the name Too Sure came about. And we thrived on that space that with this brand, you can be in touch with whoever you want to be, not just physically, but mentally and spiritually, because you are thriving within that space. But what we advanced, and even from the communication and everything we're talking about, you could see was always about we wanted to put you in contact with your loved ones, with the people that you care for, with the spaces that you want to touch, with the things you even do around your space. You are double assured that whatever it is you are doing it with safety and regard. And that was, like I said, the first time we were even going into that territory, coming from something that was always you. So that was advanced.
So you're saying before then, Too Sure, SBC didn't have any health line, nothing like that?
Not
no
at all.
hand wash, nothing?
No, of course not. No.
Oh, wow.
It has strictly dealt in confectionery, soft drinks, and this thing.
Is this working now?
Is it?
Oh, okay, great. So I think that's amazing. Oh, I think he just dropped a gem now. For you to be sustainable, for you to be able to sustain a brand, you need to keep being in touch with also what she said, the target audience. What do they need at that particular point in time? And it's also not just about you. It's about creating a belief that people can key into. Just imagine selling Coke. Sorry, not Coke. 7-Up. 7-Up, Pepsi, and the rest. And then all of a sudden, you are pivoting into wellness. And Too Sure was everywhere then. Was everywhere. How did you guys do that?
That's one of us.
No, there's no secret here today. There is no secret. You have to tell us. Because at a point, it was like everywhere.
That kind of a thing, rightly as it serves, it was even to the benefit of the government that we would. So we partnered very strongly with the Lagos State government.
Okay.
And that was also an opportunity for them to bring a voice, sort of bring comfort to people and citizenry at that time. And this brand was one of those things that have been there for over 60 years, leaving a space of commercial reason and satisfaction to say, can we give back to the society? Went into schools, We went to different spaces, churches, schools, wellness centers, communities, and we were giving those products out. And of course, with partnership with the Lagos State government, we were able to drive a very strong, public relations effort. So that's built the brand very strongly within the first 5-6 months. Very, very strongly. It became one of the strongest line, and it evolved into a company of its own. From that wellness SBU, became a wellness, not just a wellness brand, and that hand wash sanitizer just became one of many brands that we now rolled out in terms of product extension.
Oh,
and
that's
that
nice.
is, again, because of the power of belief. But it didn't start from a purely commercial reason. It started with, what can we do to connect with these people? We don't know how long we will stay at homes. How can we be in touch with these people? How can we bring succor and comfort to them over this period of time? So what is the hugest barrier right now is we can't be in touch with each other. Everyone is putting that 6 feet parameter. Even at homes, hey, don't call me, I'm going to wear my mask thing and everything. So I'm going to put something at the center that gives us a little bit of comfort between. It bridges the gap. It removes the chasm. We come closer to each other. And that's why you are double assured. On your side and on my side, we're double assured that we're bringing ourselves together. So that was a huge thing. So we removed that barrier.
And you guys made a lot of money out of that, right?
Naturally, of course, yes.
So that's it. If you want to build a brand, sometimes don't think about the profits. Think about what you're doing for the community, and the money will find its way back to you. But if you don't, because they are 60 years in the game or 70 years now, right?
About
right.
Independence
Yeah.
Day. Your point.
Yes, Independence Day. So if you don't have that kind of money and you cannot be able to give back, the best you can do is found a belief that people can key into. Your product shouldn't just stand for it being a product. It should stand for something positive that can drive at least a good narrative about yourself, about the community, about Nigeria in general. Okay, so let's move to the next question now. And I think, Chuka, you'll be the best person to answer this question. Now, what does it take to build a brand, right? Is it just campaigns? Because I know you worked on a lot of campaigns. How many of you know that Saka campaign? I don't pots. That's him, hold him. That's him. So, and that was actually very brilliant, by the way. Removing Saka from another telecommunications company to MTN at that time was revolutionary. Nobody has done it before. In fact, till now, brands, if you are working with this brand, nobody will want to touch you. But for them to think like that at that time, that's crazy. So you need to get into the head of this guy. Well, we'll come to that. So, but what makes a brand great? Is it just campaigns, or are there things behind that you need to do to make a brand, to sustain a brand in Nigeria? Yeah.
Can everybody hear me?
We can hear you, don't worry.
Okay. Okay, so what does it take to build a brand, right? For your brand to be built, think of your brand the way you think of a baby, the way you think of a house, right? The way you think of even a car. Your brand needs to be built. And anything that needs to be built means there are components. It's not one thing. You haven't built a house because you have a foundation. You haven't built a house because you have a roof. And the way you're done building the house, what's next? Is it going to be a home? Is it going to be an office? What is it going to be? So all those aspects come into brand building. So I'll just latch on to what Franklin was talking about. When we're building the SBC wellness category, so we needed to build, first of all, that you have a product does not mean you have a brand. That you have a service doesn't mean you have a brand. You can have it and it might just remain a service, it might just remain a product. So we wanted to build a brand as quickly yet organically as possible. So building a brand means that every aspect you put into it is how it makes that thing you're building better. So for example, if I wanted to build a house that I want a certain kind of people to live in, location will matter. Once the house is in this particular area, certain kinds of people will be attracted to it.
Yeah.
Certain kinds will not be attracted to it because of where it is. Some people will be able to afford it, some won't be able to because of where it is. So all those things come into play when you're building your brand. Do I want it to be where everybody meets? Do I want it to be just for a few? So I would first say, think of a brand the way you think of a human being. Humanize your brand as much as possible. So let's use Tusho, for example. And Tusho was created around the same period we created Super Commando. But Tusho was was slightly after.
Okay.
Slightly after Super Commando. So I named Too Sure because, like Franklin was saying, we wanted people to know that, look, when you come together, all the doubts, all the problems, all the fear has been removed. So don't be sure that you're good. Be too sure that you're good, right? Super Commando, for example, was named because the idea was, look, one of the core points, everything always starts, like I say, with an insight, a cultural insight. Why do people drink energy drinks in the first place? People think it's, they want to get a high, or they want to just feel strong. That's not the reason. That's what they do for the reason. And the reason is, for example, that for some people, 24 hours in a day is not enough to get done all they need to do. And they'll still have to sleep in those 24 hours, right? So they needed to be able to do, if I have 12 hours to be fully active, how much can I pack into those 12 hours? So literally, I'm going to war every day in that period. So if you're going to war, you need to be a soldier. If you're going to be a soldier, better be a commando. But if you're going to be a commando, be the highest level, super commando. So it's those kind of things that are a layer of, the Bible says, line upon line, precept upon precept, when you're building stuff. So that's how you're building a brand. So think of it from the point of view of what is it that you, and don't ever just think of it that just, I'm just building something on the side. Your soul or your heart needs to be a part of what you're doing. What do I want people to feel whenever they use my brand? So whenever you use our hand sanitizers, I want you to feel too sure. Whenever you use this energy drink, I want you to feel like you are unconquerable. Like you can take out an entire army by yourself, right? Now, that's the first base of it. Because brands, like I said, are just like human beings. They're like houses. They're built over time.
Yeah.
It's something that Warren Buffett said. He said, you cannot have a baby in 1 month by impregnating 9 women. Some things take time. It comes with the territory. You're not going to build the more levels or floors you want to put on a house, the longer you have to spend building the foundation. So don't be in a rush. When people are, my brand. I mean, your brand is that they have logo. Calm down. Logo is nice, so it's nice, but calm down. Right? So that thing that makes you love what you're doing is first important. Because it will carry you through the periods when things are not really moving. When it's taking time for people to latch onto what you're trying to build. That's what keeps you going. Now, when you get to that point, you are putting the foundation, right? The next thing for you is to ensure that every time people are connecting with that brand, you are giving them an emotion to connect it with. Already there is the functional aspect of what your brand does for them or your product does for them. This is what they get from it. But maybe there are 50,000 people that do the same thing. But you want to make them feel a certain way when they are using yours. So start to tell the stories that you want that will help you make them feel that way. If those stories are a podcast, great. If those stories are an ad, great. If those stories are small letters or notes you put whenever you send out your products, great. Those are enough to start pushing your message. And as you continuously push that message, people fall in love with it and start having affinity for it. iPhone 4, when it first launched, stupid story, but it's real. When it first launched, it could do everything except call. I mean, everybody had been waiting for the iPhone 4. It now comes. It's the first phone at the time that has the front camera, that top front. Yeah. Everybody's making noise. The phone can do everything except make actual phone calls. Why? When they were setting it up, they had an issue whereby the camera position was messing with the antenna. Oh yeah, but people are already falling in love with the Apple brand. Oh yeah, return the phone. People said no. So that's what happens when people fall in love with your brand, because you are going to make mistakes. It's a guarantee. This guy screwed up at a point. KFC, they ran out of chicken. Kentucky Fried Chicken ran out of chicken. I mean, does that make sense? You sell chicken. How do you run out of what you sell? You know, and so they agreed they messed up, and they sent an ad, right, as a message to apologize. And instead of spelling it as KFC, they spelled it as FCK. The U missing. But basically, FCK, we effed up. That's what they were saying. And they apologized. And people understood it. So you have to relate to people. Make your brand human. Human that people can smile at, laugh at, be pissed at, and forgive. And all that takes time. Thank you.
Yeah, I totally agree. So the key takeaway from what Chuka has said is beyond the functional thing that your brand does, there should be an emotional attachment to it. Very, very key. And that's what a lot of people are using to win. That's what we are using to win too at Aspira. Our Viva detergent, yes, it can make you wash, but that's not the feeling we want. That's not the only thing. We want you to feel special when you're using it. We want you to feel like washing is fun. We want you to love it, you know, and that's what we were able to achieve with our campaign. So the first thing, functional. The second thing, emotional. Now, how do you sustain all of these things over a long period of time? That's a very big question. And I think Ore can help us answer. Because GB Food has been around for a long time. Everybody knows Gino. In fact, at the point they were quiet. And then all of a sudden, Gino everywhere. So that means you have some skills. So it means, tell us the gist. How do you sustain a brand for a long time?
Okay, so first, GB Foods is Gino Bama. You probably know, most people will know Gino, most people will know Bama.
Yeah.
Some people might know Jago, some people might know Jumbo. Okay, so these are the brands in Nigeria. So, okay, to your question, how do you sustain after doing what Frank has said? Actually, starting from what Shola has said,
yeah.
You know, which really is the beginning, and then Frank, and then one thing I would say is, several times in our strategy documents, you always see things like always on. Always on is not an exaggeration. Always on is how you sustain all the branding that has happened over time. Now, you're right when you say Gino was quiet or has been quiet for a while. I would say that, again, brands go through different cycles. Brands go through different cycles, and it's not until you advertise before you are speaking to your consumers. Really, your products can speak to your consumers.
Yeah.
So it may seem like some brands, or in this case, Gino, you know, when you say maybe sustain, okay, from a traditional, what we call traditional marketing, which I say all the time anyway, traditional marketing is dead, seemed quiet. But there are many touch points and many ways to reach your consumers. You have your product, you are listening to them, you are creating products that speak to the needs of your consumers. You're writing little notes on your packaging. All of that, you are communicating, you are sending a message. So I think I think it's number one, knowing that it goes beyond traditional marketing. Knowing that there are many other touch points and ways to reach your consumers. Listening is also a means of sustenance, because you have to understand that branding or marketing is a two-way street. You're speaking to your consumers, but you also must listen to your consumers. And now when I look at my audience, and if I'm to go a little bit literal, because now I'm talking about a global brand, I'm talking about a legacy brand, I'm talking about a brand that can afford to not do some of these things and still remain in the hearts and minds. It's in every home. So sometimes we take for granted these things, right? But if I'm to talk about maybe a baby brand that you're trying to build, one thing I would say in terms of building sustenance is consistency. Don't change things. I tell my team a simple thing. Today you share with me an artwork, the logo is on the left. Tomorrow it cannot be on the right. Branding, you can't shift. It cannot be on the right. I must see it on the left every single day. Consumers must see it on the left. So it's as tough as that. You know, some people may think that marketing is tralala or it's all chewing gum. But honestly, the discipline to be consistent is very, very important. Consistency in your product, consistency in your communication, consistency. So first of all, this is how you sustain. And then in whatever means, again, I'm looking at the audience, in whatever means possible, you sustain. If what you have is your little social media space, please, treat it as your real estate. In this day and age, influencers treat social media as their real estate. They will not just put anything there. And even when you pay them to put something there, once the time is up, go back 1 week. Best believe it's not going to be there. I don't know if you get what I mean. They understand their prime. They understand the timing. Even the timing, you get what I mean? So treat if what you have in your purview, because build from where you are. Start from what you have. So if what you have is just a thriving 300 community, then feed them daily, tell them the right stories. Make sure your product at the first moment of truth is delivering. In fact, now we have 0 moment of truth. So make sure at the 0 moment of truth, at the first moment of truth, which is anytime they experience or come in contact with your product, it says what you say it would, what you have said it will say. Then I think, over time.
That's amazing. I think
One
one thing.
to add something about
Yes,
brand
please go
story.
ahead.
And I like what she said when she said that, tell your story. And I think that a lot of, because again, looking at the audience, right, a lot of people might be here, you're building your business and you have not latched on to the power of storytelling. Storytelling is very crucial. I remember clearly when I joined Andela, right? Andela was a good product, good company. They had very good employees. They were clear about the product or the service they were delivering. But there was one thing. They wanted to tell a story that was consistent in the market. And so what the team and I just did was we went to the entire management and we sat, what is the Andela story? What is the Andela story? And we found inconsistency in leadership. So everybody was saying different things. And so we were like, if people internally can't even consistently say what the brand story is, then the audience will be definitely confused. So the first thing we did was to build the brand story, which was like a boilerplate. So you need to be able to say, this is what my brand stands for, and these are the people that I want to serve, or these are the people that I want to buy my product. But of course, there will always be secondary audience and all of that. But who are the core people you want to serve? You need to feed them exactly all of the things that he talked about so that they would buy the products that you have. So brand story, very important.
Yeah. And then listening too. That listening thing is very, very important, because I see that that's one of the ways that you can also evolve, because if you don't evolve, you die. But when you listen, you'll be able to evolve. You'll be able to create new things for your customers based on their feedback. And I think that's what gave birth to the Asun Jollof, right? Different products that you have there, because you're listening.
Absolutely.
Yes. So, yes, very, very important to listen. That's one way you can sustain your brand. All right. So now, sustaining is not very easy. Even though we know all of these things, it's very, very hard, especially now that there is so much going on social media. You're telling them, feed your 300 followers. They will feed now and 0 likes. 0 engagement. Nobody's saying, because people are tired.
Yes.
People are taking content to an extreme level, to the extent that the things that you even find you think is creative is no longer working.
Yep.
So how do we do it? We I don't know who wants to answer this question.
Maybe
now.
I can.
Please. Yes.
Let me start. Because I think I have a very recent experience, and I'm going to use the Gino World Jollof Festival.
Yeah.
The build up to the festival, a week after, our pages were hot. Even Hilda Bati, anything you post is flying. And even my personal page as well. So that halo effect spread across, right?
Yeah.
But then you check maybe 4 weeks after, and this is where sustenance comes in. And this is what I keep telling my team. This is the hard work. Forget about what happened. That was great. That was global. That was celebrated. Guys, the work has just started. I don't know if you get what I mean. So holding the minds of consumers is really the hard work. And like you say, everybody now is a content creator. I think I met you the last time at one of the panels, and I remember I said it, that everybody has a ring light now. Once you have a ring light, you have a little mic, you are a content creator. Now brands are measuring share of attention. How many things are we going to look at? Right? How many things? And for me, when I look at that world record, I don't know what can be more global or bigger or more powerful, right? But then the hard work is now sustenance. And so you would find that it's very tough. It's very tough, Linda. I'm not going to stay here and say that I have it all. But one thing I know is the algorithm rewards the level of your creativity instantly. Let me say that again.
Okay.
The algorithm rewards the level of your when I use the word creativity, there are many things in there. How people engage, what you're saying, how deep or how wide or whatever the content you're putting out there. Algorithm rewards that instantly. So I think it's about continuously showing up. It's about continuously showing up. It's about continuously showing. The fact that you had 0 engagement today, I promise you, if you rework some things and you put that same content tomorrow, you tweak it a bit, maybe it's just about the angles, everything matters now, Linda.
Yeah.
Every single thing, the angles, how you show. In fact, I was watching some video on TikTok, or was it on TikTok, or maybe it was a course I was just, glancing through online. I don't remember, but then they showed the same video. This woman is talking about mental health. The video starts with where, she has a dustbin and a piece of paper, and she's squeezing the piece of paper and she's using that to give reference to mental health and the things that we might store in our minds and things that need to go to the garbage and blah, blah, blah. 3.2 million views.
Wow.
Then she does the same thing. She's saying the exact same script, but without all of that in front. I think it was probably 2,000 and something views. How do you go from 3.2 million to 2,000? So, every single thing matters. And it's all about, let's say, getting better, trial and error,
Nice. So, and now with the advent of technology, AI,
That too.
so many influencers, how does that affect our storytelling? How does that affect brands? Chuka or Franklin, do you want to come
Yeah,
in?
let me go. AI, can you hear me?
Yes.
There's the fear right now that AI is the new creative director. First of all, they started, you always start small. They started with taking over our essays, our writing, content writing. Then when they got that part, they move on to imagery and then stop. And then the next thing was, okay, what's next? Then it became the videos and the images. So okay, what's going to happen next? So it's just like look at the infrastructure of everything that's happening in marketing and advertising. Of course, start taking each of every component. So people are actually really scared. But if you really look at it, is those things can't happen when you say automation. Those things can't happen without human prompting or the level of brilliance or attention you give to it. You can give you and I an exercise on the same text, the same hour, and one of us will probably do something masters apart. Why? Because of the intelligence or context that I give it. So AI can help you scale context, but it can't bring in that human element. And what I mean is, whatever it is will become, after a point, become like commoditized comment. It keeps giving to the more you, almost like an interaction, the more it upscales. The more you give it context, okay, use this stuff, put the context of so-and-so agency, add this brilliance, don't do this. It begins, in 2 minutes, you and I can have that as a part. But the cool thing about it is it can make you reduce the amount of time, energy, and effort. Definitely, that one is definitely agreed. But it cannot really take over your creative work, because at the end of the day, if you want to come to in advertising, we have what we call from, how would I put it? What you come from when you're doing the logic, the research, and the thinking. We have what you call the leap of imagination to creativity. That's the fine line a lot of people don't know. That's when they usually come to agencies or creative people, where you're looking at all the functional insight and they say, how did you arrive at this thing? That's the magic. It's just like, it's something that leaps from your mind, your idea that comes there. It's not something you can actually write a formula to, but there's a guide towards it. But you have to, a human element has to come there. AI can do all of the beginning parts, all the logic and stuff, and it can never give you that good at this thing. No matter how much, I've tried it personally. You get tired and torn and use that energy to actually sit down and think that. I've tried it several times. It looks so formatted and annoying, So that's a joker. So that's
Great. Do you guys want to add before we finally, because I know they're already telling us to round up.
All right. So you'll notice that every time someone puts out an image, they ask, is it real? Is it AI?
Yeah.
There's a reason they ask those questions, because no matter how you look at things, authenticity matters. I always say that artificial intelligence will never replace natural brilliance. So always keep that in mind. Artificial intelligence will never replace natural brilliance. Artificial intelligence is a product of natural brilliance. It was created by natural brilliance. Now, if you're going to create, like Franklin was saying, and you're saying AI is a tool. So you can decide what you want to do with the tool. You can think of it like a gun. I'm not going to use the gun. I'm not going to use the gun. Okay. Then when thieves come, the gun is there. No, I'm non-violent. And then they shoot you.
Yeah.
The gun that was going to save you is still there. So it's a tool. What are you going to do with that tool? The best thing is, and this is my personal opinion, everybody is a sum total of their experiences. And no two people have the exact same. So if you start giving me gist in your life now, I'll write 5 films. If that next person starts to give me gist, I'll write under 5 films.
Yeah.
But the two of you can be living in the same house and have those uniqueness because everybody processes differently. Now, when you take that unique thing, right, put it out, and then use AI to visualize or to give it a production, then you win. Because AI can help you visualize in ways you normally may not be able to. Sure. But AI is not telling you a story. AI is translating your story for people.
Yeah.
And once you start thinking that way, the problem we have is people just go to AI, solve my problems. Oh, this is what they say, dump it. Yeah, like, da. Do not let AI train you. Train AI for you. That's why if you notice sometimes you give AI a prompt, you're like, oh no, that's not true. I know that, and you give the AI like, oh sorry. I mean, come on. See? So your creativity is already in it, and it will continuously pour out as your life experience continues. Use all the tools around you, AI included, to manifest it and let people understand it and experience it. Thank you.
And don't forget authenticity, very, very important.